Hi everyone. Welcome to this introduction regarding the journey I am on to engage students in learning. I hope this video, along with the posted resources, provides a bit of context for our further discussions. For a number of years, I've been teaching a course called The Impacts of Technology on Education. This class currently serves three audiences. It's a general education course that any major can take. It is a selective for a science, technology, and society minor. It's a required course for students enrolled in the early childhood education major. The majority of the students are from the early childhood education major, but I also get students from majors such as game design, golf management, school counseling, engineering, art, and more. The course specifically includes a research component that helps meet the general education objectives of thinking creatively, analyzing critically, and synthesizing clearly, developing and applying effective reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills, and using contemporary information and communication systems to look at relationships between ideological, sociological, and technological systems. These are lofty objectives that have been part of the course since its inception around 2010. They were kept in a course revision several years ago. I'm passionate about undergraduate research, so keeping the research component has been a priority for me as this course has been revised. I'm hopeful that I can get students to embrace lifelong learning and inquiry as future teachers and leaders. The reality is quite different. Learners are changing in their expectations and their experiences. Many have grown up with technology and take it for granted. One student balked at an assignment I gave, indicating that everything he needed to know he could look up on his phone with the help of Google. Early childhood education students want me to teach them specific technology skills. However, each student has their own opinion of which skill is most important, not to mention the fact that new applications come online every day. It's difficult to know what the next technology to be developed and adapted is going to be. Feedback from other students indicate that I should be trying harder to motivate them, while other students want me to address how the course is meaningful to their specific career choice. I do try to provide examples, but touching on every different major can be difficult. Most other students agree that they really don't care what the content is since the course is required. They just want a good grade. This type of feedback bothered me because most of the students are going to be future teachers, and they're going to be the folks who are teaching youngsters of tomorrow and need to have lifelong learning skills. I've spent several years looking for ways to get students to embrace a sense of curiosity and a love of learning. Let's take a brief look at my progression through three major approaches to revising content and implementing different teaching strategies. I inherited the course with the research project in place. The course was graded on a number of assessments, with the major research project being graded on technical content, not limited to points for having an introduction, findings from a literature search, a conclusion, and APA formatting. Picture a high school research paper and you get the idea. The ability to communicate is determined by how well you can write a 5-page paper. After multiple attempts, I settled on a process-based implementation. The course integrated a research project of a student's choice that used technology for learning, included at least one human being, and required someone to learn something in a teaching-learning process. The final product was a video that's peer-graded and includes an introduction, overview of the research project that was used, and a viable video presentation. In addition, students had to reflect on what they learned and how that learning and the assignments related to the RSD framework. APA formatting and a literature review became part of a series of scaffolded assignments that students could revise. A futuring assignment allowed students to pick an area of interest and create an infographic related to technological, sociological, and ideological content of their choice. The solution was an attempt to get students to focus on their own learning while using technology in a way that they could apply to their own context. The journey is continuing. I'm comfortable with the RSD framework, and that has helped me look at research as a process and not a product. Elements are still missing. Students are not connecting the how or why of what they're doing with the assignments and the discussions that we have in class. I'm coming to realize that the more responsibility I take for student learning, the less responsibility students have. I'm expecting students to make connections and analyze and synthesize information that I've worked with while robbing them of the opportunity to do the same thing in a safe learning environment. The new approach I'm experimenting with is student ownership of a growth mindset. Many of the assignments have the same outcomes, but they are approached differently. The final research report remains the same. However, I'm now using the Framework for Information Literacy to address why the facets of the RSD framework are important. Research skills such as APA formatting are part of daily assignments that students are allowed to revise if necessary. This makes an important skill low stakes, yet worth enough points that the student will work to revise their citations. I have access to a futurist who was able to help me construct a week-long futuring activity into the course that allowed students to tie together the technology, future impacts on their lives, and address technology's impact on political, social, economic, environmental, and legal issues. Most importantly, I've asked students to create an artifact of their own choosing that demonstrates their learning growth and the appropriate educational risks that they've taken during the semester. I'm asking them to demonstrate how they have grown. Their final test is the presentation of their growth. Assignments embedded in the course ensure that students can meet this goal if they complete assigned work and use provided work days to create and update their artifacts. I've had web pages, blogs, video presentations, and the like submitted during the first iteration of this approach. I'll continue to refine the approach in upcoming semesters. This presentation is intended to provide a context for our next meeting and discussion. I have attempted to share with you my journey that went from a product-based course to a process-based course using the RSD framework, and then indicating that the Framework for Information Literacy was added to help students obtain a growth mindset. Please know that this journey has occurred over multiple years and semesters. It's only possible by having conversations with other instructors, librarians, such as Jessie, reading, watching TED videos, trial and error. The journey also required me to recognize that the nature of today's learners is changing, and my teaching needs to reflect those changes. Finally, I need to give myself permission to release control in order to address the needs of today's learners, as well as the nature of the course that includes learners from multiple programs. Thanks for your time. I look forward to our future discussions.